Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to focus on a little bit of research end of the Dogman. Because cryptid studies or cryptozoology is pretty much theory, speculation, studies of people's encounters, trying to figure out what's the same, what's different, and a lot of stuff from the past. So I kind of want to just dive into something that I found interesting, and it might shed some light on some things that kind of get overlooked. So before we get into today's upload, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help the channel grow and go. All those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fan fiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that, well, they just don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. And actually, I have not recorded on that channel in a while. And I went back the other day and I checked some of the stuff out, and I couldn't believe how good some of it was. I was amazed. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, written by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by Jeffrey Nadolny, is available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. The link to that is in the description below. Now I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Today I'm going to share with you some old encounters that were that happened a long time ago. I also am going to take a look at 3 cryptids that I believe have been misidentified, that I believe or misnamed, because a lot of right now Reddit and creepypastas and YouTube narrators are talking about cryptids that, like the gugwee, okay? The gugwee is a Micmac name which refers to a multiple amount of creatures. I mean, to be honest, it's labeled as a woman creature, 30 feet high, bigger than trees. But if you ever honestly take a look and you don't go to Reddit or creepypasta wiki or whatever those things are, fandom, and you look at the real meaning of the word, you actually go to you find, okay, it's a Micmac. Well, let's check Micmac. Let's look into their history. Oh, the gugwee. Okay, well, it is a large humanoid that is very similar to the Bigfoot, but very similar to the werewolf. Now, prior to Victor, everyone talked about Dogman and Bigfoot. Then, the werewolf was introduced, which we all knew something like that existed. Coonbo refers to him as like a type 3. Dogman, of course, being the most violent. Sasquatch is violent, but more docile, more avoiding people. And then the type 3, which resembles the werewolf, or the gugwee. Now, the gugwee, a lot of people have talked about and said, I saw the gugwee. I saw the gugwee. And people have researched the gugwee, but not really. They didn't research. They researched the name and then on fandom or wiki or whatever. But not really did they understand what that creature or what that animal meant to the ancient tribes. Okay? So I'm just saying that was like a misidentification, a misclass of an animal. All right? I firmly believe 100%, and this is my belief, that the Dogman, the werewolf, and the Sasquatch are animals. Do I believe they possess some powers? I do. I really do. I believe that they're capable of using a different portion of their brain. The Sasquatch, of course, because it can just vanish almost into thin air. Now, humans only use 10% of our brain. What if the Squatch uses 5%, but it's a different 5% than we use? So they're going to unlock something that we have locked. I mean, imagine if we could use 100% of our brain. It would be unbelievable. It would just, I can't even imagine. Now I'm getting off track, but that's my belief. I don't have anything to back it because I've never had all three of them in front of me on a dissection table to see their heart, lungs, liver. But I feel like it, okay? Now, like the gugwee, which is a Micmac name for a creature that resembles the Sasquatch or the werewolf, so it's one of the two. It's not it's not a cryptid by itself, all right? And that's my belief. I'm not saying it's right. These are just my belief or my theory. But we have the dawu or dawu, which I believe is a Dogman. And I'm going to give you reasons why, all right? The dawu. Have you ever seen a werewolf movie? If so, you may know what to expect from the next mysterious creature on this list. It's a humanoid appearing. Dawu is purported to dwell in the Appalachian Mountains. Unlike the Yahoo. Now the Yahoo is what it is it's a mysterious ape-like creature found in the remote parts of the United States. Actually in the Appalachians, it's a Bigfoot-like monster. And its name comes from the noise it makes. It's a loud wailing tone that mimics the word Yahoo as it echoes off the hillsides and the trees. It's a brown-colored creature that stands anywhere between 6 to 8 foot. All right. Now, does that mean the Yahoo is not a Bigfoot? Or is it a separate creature from the Bigfoot? No, it's not. It's a Bigfoot. So, back to the dawu. Unlike the Yahoo, the dawu is a cross between a human and a wolf instead of an ape. They are also taller than the Yahoo, standing a massive 9 feet. Many witnesses have reported seeing the strange Appalachian dawu, including such legitimate sources as hunters and park rangers. There are even more people that have heard the creature howling its piercing cry throughout the night. The dawu has an evil disposition, and it willingly will attack dogs and other beasts. Local cattle mutilations have been attributed to this wolf-like creature. Now I'm going to stop right there. Just because it attacks other animals, we put the word evil with it. That's nature. That's called animal instinct. It is not doing it for shits and giggles. It's doing it because it's an animal. I mean, have you ever seen a cat just go and grab a mouse and mess with it for like 3 hours and not kill it, but just extremely mess it up? Does that make that cat evil? No. But when it's a 9-foot creature doing it, now we've put a stigma or attached this word evil to it. Why? Because that's what we do. As humans, we try to label things, and then we revert to the Bible and say, hey, this is the devil. How can the devil, and once again, theory, my belief, I don't believe they're evil. I believe they're an animal. Anyway, back to this. The Frederick News Post ran a story about the dawu in November of 1965. In that story, a person going by the name of John Becker reported meeting up with a tall wolfman creature. He described the beast as being as big as a bear, with long black hair and a bushy tail. Becker said it growled like an angry wolf. The encounter resulted in the creature attacking the man, who fought it off to protect his wife and child. Finally, the beast ran back into the woods, leaving the family unharmed. In the woods of Maryland is said to hide the wolf-like creature known as the dawu. It's described as similar to a wolf with dark fur over its entire body, a long tail, a dog-like nose. It stands like a man and utilizes its 4 legs like arms. It's said to be anywhere between 6 to 9 feet tall. Now, interestingly enough, the first supposed article or mention of the dawu was in 65, right? But if you do further research, this is where I'm going with this. Misidentification and not proper research gets everything just out of whack, And mind you, this is theory. I'm not saying I know more than anybody because I don't know shit, all right? I don't. I'm not claiming to be an expert at all. I know as little or as much as everybody else, all right? Please don't. But the first mention of the name dawu comes from a sighting in 44 in West Middleton, Frederick County, Maryland. Witnesses heard the creature making a frightful scream, and there were footprints attesting to the claim of the sighting. However, the tale did not come to prominence until a newspaper account in Frederick News of 65 was published with a detailed account of the creature. Here's that account. Near the woods of Gambrel State Park, John Becker went out into his yard to investigate a strange noise. It was getting dark, and he said he started back to the house when he saw something moving toward him. It was as big as a bear. It had long black hair, a bushy tail, and growled like a wolf or a dog that was angry. As it got closer, it stood up on its hind legs and attacked him. Becker fought the creature until it ran into the woods, leaving him, his wife, and children in horror. Deciding to remain anonymous under an alias, John Becker, he filed a report with the local state police, telling of the attack of the mysterious monster he called the dawu. He named it. All right. So instead of calling it the Dogman or the werewolf or the walking wolf, he named it the dawu. Now, what do? Because no one pays attention to that, we refer to things as the dawu. Oh, I saw a dawu. No, what you probably saw was a dogman. All right. Soon, more stories followed in area newspapers, spawning a rash of calls and letters to newspapers. Other sightings were reported nearby. However, by mid-December, the story started to fade. In the summer of 66, the creature was again sighted on the outskirts of Gambrel State Park when a man, only referred to as Jim A., encountered the dawu as he was heading towards the campsite. He described it as shaggy, two-legged animal, the size of a deer that had a triangular-shaped head with pointed ears and a chin. It was dark brown in color, and when approached, it made a horrid scream and backed away from him. Jim went on to say that the creature had an odd walk as it retreated. Its legs stuck out from the side of a trunk of the body, making its movements appear almost spider-like as it backed away. Now, that almost, if you think, kind of, if the Dogman with its backwards bent legs is walking on all fours, it's going to have an odd walk. It's not going to walk like a dog, because when it's standing straight up, it has the legs like a dog. So when it stands down, its legs are still going to be positioned like that, but it's going to have weight on its front. Now, you see what I'm saying? Once again, theory. I'm dumb. All right. So, and it backed away. In the fall of '76, another sighting of the dawu took place in Frederick County, near Thurmont, when two men went driving on Route 77 onto a private road. They saw a large creature run across the road in front of their car. They described it as at least 6 feet tall, but inclined forward, since it was moving quickly. Its head was fairly large and similar to a profile of a wolf. The body was covered in brown or brindled-colored fur, but the lower half had a striped pattern of a noticeably darker and lighter banding. The forelegs were slimmer and held out in front as it moved. The back legs were very muscular, thick and similar to perhaps a kangaroo. This was not a hominid-type creature. It did not have the characteristics of an ape. It was much similar to a wolf or a ferocious dog. However, it was definitely moving upright and appeared to be adapted for that type of mobility. I was practically impressed by the size and strength of its back legs, the stripes of the lower half of the body, and the canine wolf-like head. So it's not a hominid because it's not ape-like, so it's bipedal. Later in '78, two park rangers were near Cunningham Falls area when they encountered a large hairy creature running on two legs. More than 2 centuries ago, another such creature is told in folklore, that of the Hexenwolf. In the late 1800s, the Pennsylvania Dutch had started to settle in Frederick and Washington counties of Maryland. Almost immediately, stories began to circulate about a wolf-like creature. Its description was similar to that of a dawu, a mammalian biped with features similar to a wolf, but with the stance and stature of a human. The legend of the Hexenwolf had long been known to inhabit tracts of land across much of eastern Pennsylvania and told in German folklore. So interestingly, this creature that was sighted in Frederick County, Washington County, Carroll County, I believe, Maryland, is referred to as the dawu. But its characteristics are that of a dogman. But because it was sighted somewhere else, a name that we don't use, or some of us do, so then therefore becomes another cryptid in our eyes. But it's not. It's the exact same creature as a werewolf, or dogman, excuse me. Bushy tail, long nose, very strong, 6 to 7 to 8 feet, runs bipedally, runs on all fours, has the invert. But once again, location, geographics have now given us a different cryptid. Unlike one that we already study and listen to daily, the Dogman. So it's interesting, all right? So the next cryptid, I want to look at is the mysterious devil monkeys, okay? From the deep wilderness of southwest Virginia comes a tale of mysterious, wild, part wolf, part monkey creature that terrorizes vehicles in the area. In one 1994 report, A road construction detour forced a woman from Ohio down a dark two-lane country road in the wee hours of the morning. As she edged her car on into the night, a horrifying monster suddenly leaped in front of her car, creating panic. The beast was all black, with short, sleek fur, very pointed ears, and a long, thin tail. The horrifying creature stood tall on its hind legs, reaching 6 feet into the air. Its torso was that of a skinny man, yet the rear legs were that of a dog or a wolf. The beast's muscles rippled as it moved. Luckily, the creature left without further harm to the lady, but stories of missing livestock in the area soon followed. Okay, guys, what different geography? What are we, right there. Almost a Dogman. Now, instead of using a human in comparison, because humans are not hairy, they use a monkey. Once again, my theory. I'm not saying I know anything, and I have to keep emphasizing that because I don't want to be called a know-it-all, because I don't know anything. These are just theories that come into my head, and I have a lot of dumb ones. But I'm just going to share these with you today. I'm sorry. This attack wasn't the first appearance of the Virginia devil monkey. Back in '59, a couple and their daughter were driving near Saltville, Virginia, when a vicious creature charged their vehicle. The strange beast continued to pursue their car and left them with deep scratches dug across their door before disappearing. A few years after that encounter, 2 nurses were returning home from work in Saltville area. Suddenly, an unknown creature attacked them, completely ripping the convertible top from their vehicle. The nurses were able to escape, badly shaken, but none the worse for wear. Again, the Virginia devil monkey left without a trace. That last piece right there reminds me of a conversation that I had with Kuhnbo. Now, he has got to be, in my eyes, one of the most knowledgeable cryptozoologists that I've ever met and talked with. And I really feel that way because he has, just collected multiple encounters, and he's had theory, and he's speculated, and he's came up with these amazing, brilliant theories. But he talked about something very similar to that. So I'm almost wondering if that is a Dogman encounter that he mentioned during the interview that I had him on, because I believe it was some nurses. Anyway, let's continue. The noises that the beast emanate are described as shrieks, hoots, screams, and whistles. It was about 4 feet tall when it walked on all fours. Its hair was gray, was short except for around its face, where it was longer like a mane of a lion, poised in the headlight of our truck. It was very close, as I remember its eyes being a reddish brown. It seemed aggressive and threatening and made strange noises. Oh, and it had a face like a monkey. This description was given by a woman in the comment section of an article about a strange North American beast. It was almost identical to the description given for creatures known as the devil monkeys of Virginia. There are many accounts of these stories in Appalachia. Another woman, clear off in Washington State, relayed her experience in a comment section. She was riding with her boyfriend in the back roads of the Cascades when they came upon what seemed 2 large puddles of blood in the road. They grew anxious, and the boyfriend pulled a little off the road into the woods to execute a turnaround. They wanted out of there. As the headlights pointed into the woods, they focused on a creature very similar to one just described. 4 feet tall, glowing eyes. It was moving, hunched over, and it looked like a cross between a primate and a wolf. When they got back home, they did some research and realized the devil monkey is what they had seen. An article was published in May of 2012. The first poster indicated that the encounter had happened with her mother in the 90s when they were on a back road in rural Midwest. The second poster, in her comment, in 2015, but it did not indicate when she had the encounter. Sightings of the devil monkey are most prevalent in the British Columbia and the Appalachian, most occurring in rural Virginia. Modern-day primates do not occur naturally in Canada or the United States. One of the very first documented sightings was in '59. A monkey-like creature rushed an automobile of a couple driving in rural Virginia. They were frightened but escaped. Descriptions given by the witness are very similar. It's a primate-looking beast with a snout like a dog or a baboon. It has sharp, threatening teeth, pointed ears, and a bushy tail. It's between 3 to 8 feet tall, and it moves on all fours, usually jumping. They're aggressive toward dogs, humans, and are thought to feed on livestock. Livestock always disappear when the creature is known to be around. The noises are described as shrieks, hoots, screams, and whistles. After the encounter in '59, the next documented encounter was reported by 2 nurses going home after a late shift on a lonely back road. The devil monkey had mostly torn the entire top of the convertible in which they were traveling. Note, there's not a year attached. That's why I honestly think that is the encounter that Kumbo was talking about that he researched. Many reports of the encounters have occurred over the years. There was one recorded as of late 2001. A giant dark monkey was spotted 9 different times in various locations in the rural New Hampshire. Accompanying one of the articles, 6 different people revealed in the comments that they had their own personal encounter. The first comment, a girl with her mother, was in Berryman, Missouri when it happened. Berryman is an eastern portion of central Missouri near Mark Twain's National Forest. Now, as we all know, Missouri is a hot spot. I mean, Kumbo lived there, for God's sakes. Of course it's going to be a hot spot. I mean, you don't think Kumbo moves to places with it not being... No, I'm just kidding. Maybe it was for other reasons. I don't really know. But Missouri has always been known as a hot spot. Magnolia is in Arkansas, excuse me. You've got Whiteman Air Force Base is in Missouri. That's where a subscriber of ours, a friend of the channel, had his encounter with the Dogman. Now, what they are describing to me when I hear it, it's a primate-looking beast with a snout of a dog or a baboon. All right. Because it reminds someone of a baboon, they then put the word monkey to it. Now, when we think of monkey, we think of a chimp. I mean, normal human brain thinks chimp, not anything with a snout. But once we mention baboon or mandrill, that's when the snout comes out, right? So, I think this is a mislabel. And I really think the Virginia devil monkey is the Virginia Dogman. Anyway, let's get back to this. This story begins in Crewe, Virginia, May or June of '68. Bob was only a young child, but remembers the incident well. His mother was giving birth, and his dad had sent them out to wash their hands on the front porch, and this childlike creature stepped up onto the porch and scared me to death. I tried to tell my brother, who was also on the porch, but he never saw the thing. I couldn't speak to tell my brother, and I believe that this thing was doing something to keep us from talking to each other. The creature had pinkish red skin, big shiny eyes, and a mouth. I don't remember seeing a nose. If so, it was very small, and its feet were small like hooves. I called it a devil. It moved very fast. Bob then reported the sighting to his father shortly before his death 10 years later. But his father wouldn't accept the sighting. as in most experiences, something that Bob will never forget 36 years later. He has not changed his story or his belief in what he saw or happened that day. Now, this is where I talk about they're classifying this creature as the Virginia devil monkey. Because why? Well, it doesn't resemble the dawu or the other devil monkey stories that we heard prior. But the reason why is because it has hooved feet. And that's the only reason. So, is it a Dogman? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Do I believe it was? Absolutely friggin' not, just by the way they're talking about it. What do I think it is? I have no friggin' clue. It's just friggin' scary. If that thing jumped up on my porch when I was washing my hands, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably run in my house. Now, if I was his age then, but now I'd probably kick the son of a bitch off my porch and say, get the hell out of here. But it's not a Dogman, devil monkey, how they've referred it, or dawu. So why do they classify it? Who knows? But what does that do? All that does is then create confusion. So they should just automatically not even classify this and just label it as an unidentified cryptid or a WTH was that cryptid and move on. All right. Now, once again, theory. In May of '92, an eyewitness states that after high school, a friend and the witness decided to visit a local nature trail. They arrived at the trail at around 4:30. While walking, they witnessed a creature. The witness describes the devil as being around 2 or 3 feet tall, covered in red fur. Suddenly, it let out this piercing laugh, at which point the witness's friend freaked out and ran back to the path. The red devil chased his friend for about 10 to 20 feet before running off into the woods with the same shrill-like laugh. That's creepy. Another sighting occurred a month later. JP was driving Red Hills Road in Horntown, Virginia, when he decided to turn around and back up into a little side road. His truck scraped the road, and he opened the door to investigate the damage. The noise was heard in the bushes, causing JP to retreat back to his truck, thinking it was a dangerous animal. As JP looked through his truck's back window, the devil slowly stepped out of the bushes, revealing its hands, and then fully appearing with a large grin. The only way I can really describe the creature is 3 to 4 feet satire. He had red hair all over his body. He had legs of an animal, hooves like a horse or a goat. So I did the only logical thing anyone would do. I put the truck in gear and took off like crazy. Boom! Boom! Now we have a theory of what this could be. This could be the goat man. All right? Hooves. But they're still labeling it as the devil monkey. Why? I don't know. It's just, it's almost like, honestly, and I just said it, it's almost like these stories are put in this together, in a fashion like this to confuse us. Instead of honestly saying, okay, this creature had this creature had that. Let's label it this. Oh, they called it this and this. Hey, let's interview him. Oh, it had a tail. It had the wolf-like face. Okay, you call it a dawu. All right, well, in my eyes, that honestly fits as a Dogman. So let's classify it as a Dogman. Instead, what they do is they give us a whole new god-darn freaking cryptid that just doesn't fit into the puzzle. So pretty much what right now I'm trying to do is take as many missing puzzle pieces or puzzle pieces that don't belong and throw them out so we can put our puzzle together. So the more names that we have for these things, the more holes in our puzzle and the more pieces that don't fit in those holes until we get rid of some by process of elimination. Right here, we just did it. You know what I'm saying? Dogman, dawu, and a couple of the devil monkeys that the people were describing in the early part here. And then now they're referring it to as a goat man. So, okay, let's back up. Let's drop dawu. Let's drop devil monkey. And okay, dog man, goat man. Boom. Instead of dog man, goat man, dawu, red deviled monkey, this other red deviled monkey. So instead of 5, we have 2. Much easier to deal with then, right? Okay. In 1995, a husband and wife sighting occurred. In 95, when they were parked at the Red Hills, they noticed a little creature staring into the car. As soon as they saw it, the devil turned around and ran into the woods. A sighting occurred in 97, April, which was also known in the UK as the month of increased UFO activity. JS was on a country back road when he saw a little thing. It looked like a white dog until it stood up on 2 legs and walked into the woods. A radio broadcast from WROX-FM seemed to confer that another witness had seen the same creature. The man claimed the first witness the creature when he was a child and has researched it since. On a warm, damp night in 1997, BMC witnessed a figure about 3 feet tall. It had a pungy stomach and white fur. Its legs were very angled, and its head was rather pointed with a deep set of eyes that seemed dark. Its face blended in with its fur. It had rather thin arms with hands that looked as though they had claws. It stood there for a few seconds, but when I jumped, it scared away. It turned and bounded or galloped off on 4 legs. The sighting took place in Chandler's Crest. In August of 97, a sighting was submitted by an anonymous visitor who reported that a neighbor's boyfriend had witnessed the devil many years ago when he was a teenager, 10 years previously. He described it as having brownish hair on them from what he could see in the dark. They had a bare, human-like face, and they were murmuring back to themselves and laughing. The sighting took place in Lynchburg, Virginia. Okay. So let's look at these two. Completely different, still labeled the devil monkey. So we've kind of, myself, not we, I'm sorry, I'm speaking for you, I'm speaking for me, but when I say we, I'm referring to those who are listening, are going along with me. So what I just did was I narrowed it down. I got rid of 5, I was left with 2. Dogman, Goatman. These 2 other sightings that we're seeing, well, one could be labeled, in my eyes, pointed head, tail, white fur, 2 legs, galloped very fastly away. Small dog man, in my eyes, Once again, it's theory, just theory. The next one, he describes it as brownish hair, human like face, bare, but brownish hair all over it. Whoa, that sounds to me like smaller Sasquatches. So now we've got 4 different devil monkeys, a dawu, a dog man, a goat man. It's just mass confusion. But if you honestly look and you weigh it out and you kind of put it all, take it out of the categories that they're put in, you've got now a dog man, you've got now a goat man, and you've got a Sasquatch. Instead of 4 different devil monkeys, a dawu, a dog man, a goat man. 4 different devil monkeys is enough to confuse the shit out of you anyway. Which one did you see? Did you see type A, B, C, D? No. Well, and the variant thing, that drives me insane. But that's a different story. Based on a few sightings of the red devil, here is another devil monkey. Location of the sighting near Mammoth Cave National Park. Highway 728, Edmonson County, Kentucky, August 1st, 2008. I was coming home from a golf course I work at. It was just after dark on Highway 278, Nolan Dam Road, just after Briar Creek Road, when I saw something white on the side of the road. I thought to myself it was a goat. Then thought maybe it was a dog. But then I got closer, seeing it was on its hind legs. It was tall, maybe 6.5 feet tall, and solid white. It looked like it was well groomed. But I think it was in sort of fear reflex, because it never moved, and its face was stuck in a snarl or a grimace. I did notice large canines, and its tail was showing above its head and bent like a monkey's. It had beautiful fur, pinkish tan face, but I didn't notice its eyes. It had muscular legs, not like a man's, and a lean torso. I didn't notice the ears. As I was on my way home, I didn't think to stop. Plus, it was big and menacing. I didn't think about it again until the next day, and at first I thought I could have seen a dog. But when I Googled what I had saw, a rough picture drawn next to the Pine Barrens, what I saw sent me for a jolt. Has anyone seen anything like this? Please help. Okay, so let's think about this really quick. Large canines, a pinkish face. Now this one's confusing because does it fit in with a Dogman? A little bit. Does it fit in with a Sasquatch? A little bit. Does it fit in with the Goatman? No. All right, so we can exclude the Goatman. So now we're stuck thinking Dogman or Sasquatch. Well, it's got a tail. That excludes Sasquatch. So what is it? Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, he was traveling, he was scared. Maybe he didn't notice the snow. Maybe. Who knows? But this is one that doesn't fit in any of the categories. So keep it labeled as an unknown cryptid, possibly Dogman. That's what I would do. You know, that's when I'm going through things like this, that's how I do it. All right. And then, like I said, we had 3 that I wanted to go into. Then we have the most interesting one, in my eyes. The snarly wow, or whoa. It's Y-O-W. So snarly wow, I think it said. Or yo, snarly yo. In the hills of West Virginia, there is said to live a creature called the snarly yo. It's been roaming the mountains near Harper Ferry, West Virginia. The stories are said to have originated with the first Germans settling the upper Potomac Valley in the early 1700s. It gets its name from a Germanic word that describes a wail that emanates from a toothy mouth. The monster is said to be dog-like. Several people have claimed to have encounters with this beast, despite some reports that the creature has been run over or shot. Unlucky souls reported that after the suspected injuring or killing the creature, they would look around to find it standing by. Many claim to include seeing it standing on its hind legs. The snarly yo has been reported to appear out of thin air, change its size, and disappear in a blink of an eye, according to local folklore. The beast lurks near main roads and towns, most often seen near the Blue Ridge or South Mountain near Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. Hang on, I need a hot sip of my hot tea. The snarly woe is a mysterious giant black dog who has been sighted in various spots on the South Mountain, Maryland. Territory appears to be at a pass in where the old National Road cuts across a brook in a canyon. Although its appearance is similar to the black shuck of the UK, the hound appears to not have a connection to an intimate death associated with many other hounds. Eyewitnesses claim its coat changes from black to white. One sighting describes Snarly as a white headless dog, which dragged a chain. Wow. So right there, with these sightings, if you break things down, you can put in the shuck like they just did, but black and white dog that can change Cadejo, right? But let's keep going in and keep. Snarly wow sightings date back to an inn nearby built in 1790. The common tale was Snarly would suddenly appear, spook the horses, and disappear as the rider was thrown from the horses. Many of these sightings were committed to paper, 1882, in a book called South Mountain Magic. One eyewitness account of Snarly is recounted here. One night about 10 o'clock, as he was returning from the village of Boonesborough, whither he had gone to make some little purchases for his family, he encountered the black dog. It was clear starlight, and the ungainly form of a beast could be distinctly traced. It was black, and bigger than any dog he had ever seen, and as he came nearer, the object intercepted him, and stood guarding the road in such a way as to forbid his crossing. So, to use his own expression, he fit him. That's it. Nothing daunted. He fought at him, but, to his confusion, as the creature was attacked, it grew longer, and presently seemed to extend across the road, making no noise, but showing a very wide and very ugly-looking red mouth, while all the time the thick and heavy blows rained down upon it. The sinewy arms of the woodsman met no resistance, but rather seemed to beat the air. Well, so now the guy gets off his horse and he starts pounding on this dog. For what? I don't know. It's kind of an assholeish thing to do. Hey, you're in my way. I will fit you. But what happens? It suddenly starts growing longer. Could that be it stood up more? Or it kind of laid flat? Who knows? It's from the 1800s. It's a piss poor description, but a very interesting story. Presently, and still lengthening, shadow passed onward. Then the man, not a little furred at the strange nature of the vision, went home, nor did he receive the least bodily harm from this ominous combat. So he didn't get hurt. There were also many in the 20th century, apparently due to Snarly Yow's fondness for chasing cars. The current story is the hound attempted to block cars in the road. He will appear so lifelike that the drivers of the National Road Route 40 will actually think they hit a dog, then stop and see what happens. Snarly will be there, teeth bared, and then just disappear. Dude, right there, all right? This is how things work in my head. And I know people are probably going to hate this upload, but oh well. So what did we just read, right? Fondness for chasing cars. The hound attempts to block cars in the road. It will appear lifelike. The driver will then stop thinking they hit the dog. What instantly popped into my head, but the poor frickin' doctor. The doctor who was found in a ditch across the street from her car while her door was open. Could she have came across this Snarly Wow, which I believe is a Dogman? A producer of a local cable company was in the area shooting footage for a show about local legends. He had several unexpected things happen in the area, and in his words, and first, I and the other crew members who were preparing to begin an early morning shoot at the inn were startled by a strange noise that sounded like a howl of a werewolf echoing throughout the top of the mountain. It was a sound I had never heard before or since. There is a Civil War plaque located on the road near Boonesborough, Maryland, for the Battle of the South Mountain. Also on display is a sidebar that reads, Beware of the snarly yo. Now, this is actual historic. This is on a historic plaque, guys. Beware of the snarly woe. Legend has it that the shadow of a black dog used to prowl the heights of South Mountain. One night, a huntsman, famous as a sure shot, encountered the beast. He aimed and fired his rifle. The shot went right through the animal with no effect. He fired again and again, each shot passing through the shadowy beast. Finally overcome with dread, the huntsman fled. Interesting, right? Now, during the new round of snarly wow encounters, motorists began reporting a dog that would suddenly appear in front of cars. In 1976, Frederick County, Maryland. Where? Frederick County, Maryland. What did we just... we were just talking about that with another devil monkey and dawu. A couple reported hitting a large bluish-black dog with glowing eyes. When they stopped to investigate, it vanished without a trace. This is a recurring theme with the snarly yow. Other motorists have reportedly hit the creature after it materialized in front of their car, only to have their vehicle pass through it and see the creature standing on the road behind them. All right, so now what do we have to go on that? Is the snarly wow a cryptid? Maybe, if we go back to what I was saying in the beginning, where some part of me in my theories and speculation feel like they use a part of their brain that we don't and can vanish and come back. My honest view of the snarly wow is that it is an apparition. It reminds me of a Dogman. And yeah, we jump to conclusions. Because right when I read that stating, see what I'm saying? When I read that last statement, when I stopped and I was like, the Georgia doctor. Well, with further research, I then said, no, it's never hurt anybody. It's an apparition. So right now, I just shared with you 3 different names for cryptids that we really can't figure out what they are. Part of the, well, the dawu is 100%, in my eyes, a Dogman. 100%. The devil monkey is a little more complicated. I think that some people, because of the area they're in, and they've heard these, legends, hey, they hear a story about the devil monkey, and then boom, they see something that is completely unexplainable, and what do they classify it as? A devil monkey. Why? Because it just fits. It fits, But part of me thinks the devil monkey could be a Dogman, a Goatman, or Sasquatch, or, we heard different descriptions. So you got 3, or possibly an unknown cryptid. Yeah, so right here, and I wanted to do this upload, and I'm going to explain it as best as I can. I wanted to do this upload because there are so many different names for these cryptids that people then classify them as a totally different cryptid than what they are. Like, if someone said I had a dawu encounter, well, then people are like, holy shit, what's a dawu? Without researching it. But when you research it, then you see where it fits. And yes, then there are some that don't fit at all. And then you're just screwed in your head at that point, like me, with that one that's white, has a tail, is 6.5 feet tall, but has a pinkish colored face. And part of me wants to say that's a Dogman. Maybe they just didn't see the snout. But all Dogman and all Sasquatch and all werewolf don't look the same. Humans don't. We don't. I mean, through geographic, environmental change, a human is different. That we have different features. So why can't a Dogman have a different feature? Have a smaller snout? Have, genetics could give it a smaller snout. I don't know. I just wanted to share this information with you and show you guys a little bit of how my brain works. And once again, this goes to show that even by eliminating pieces of the puzzle, the goddamn puzzle is never probably going to be put together unless honestly, we all can sit and theorize the best theory that fits. And then other researchers connect together and stop the pissing contest and work together to figure what these are. There's just far too much inner fighting in cryptozoology. This is a study that there should be no fighting, but people want to think they're experts, which I do not. And I don't know many people that think they are. I mean, I don't associate with people that think they are, to be honest with you. I really value other people's opinions on what these things could be. Through educated studies of this and that. But, yeah. So, now if we go then back to the gugwee, which is Micmac, how do they describe it? Well, they describe it in many ways, but the one that fits the most is that it's like a squatch. It's very strong and a little taller, and it has a shorter muzzle. No tail. What do you got? A werewolf. Alright, guys. I'm sorry, this is probably one of the stupidest uploads I've ever done, and you guys probably hate it, but I just wanted to do it and kind of show you what goes through my head every day and where my brain is at constantly, because I really just want to get the truth just as much as all of you. And I honestly think that if researchers really sat down with other researchers and put the BS behind them and went and studied these things, I think we'd have a better answer. So, alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You probably didn't, but if you did, give me a thumbs up and thanks. I appreciate it. Bye.